Well, yes, we're going to be delving into the role of the other candidates. Apart from the major front runners, what was the experience of the so-called smaller parties? Joining us this morning is Sani, beg your pardon, Yabagi Sani, who is the presidential candidate of the Action Democratic Party. You're welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Thank you very much for having me.
How do you feel? I mean, now that the elections have been won and lost, you did not win the elections, sadly. But how did you feel? Did you think that you were cheated, or do you think that you lost fair and square?
Well, my take is that it's a journey. You know, building a nation is not just a one-off thing. You have to understand the fact that this country is still a developing country. Unfortunately, we are not supposed to be at the stage where we are today. When you look at all the other aspects of development, we are still nosediving, and that's unfortunate. For instance, the electoral law, which would have given the foundation for free, fair, credible, and peaceful election, was not signed into law by Mr. President. So right there, this election was already predetermined in the manner and the way it went. So my take is that the elections itself, the conduct of the elections itself, the arrangement, that's the preparation, that is the law that would have guaranteed free and fair election, like I said, was not allowed, to be in place.
What was in that electoral act that you think could have made their chances better?
For instance, if we were allowed to have elections transmitted via electronic means, there wouldn't have been the cases of people manipulating elections at the collection centers. You wouldn't have cases of people mobilizing the security agencies to go and intimidate, harass people, because the elections, the results would have been at a center where interference would have been minimal, if at all there would be any. Number two, INEC told us in our interactive sessions that they are going to involve EFCC. So we thought that because two things that normally affect the elections in this country are, one, the obscene use of money. Number two, issues of violence, which are all induced phenomena. So what I'm saying is that we didn't see the involvement.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir, but how widespread was the issue of vote buying, for instance, when you talk about the influence of money?
Vote buying, unfortunately, was even so openly done by this government. The trade of money they were talking about, people saw people who are distributing this money with the outfit, the shirts and the other things of the party, of APC. People distribute money and telling them that, well, I'm going to vote, if I will give you 10,000 naira.
Are you blaming those things for your loss at the polls?
Yes, because
I'm looking at the results of all the other candidates, sorry to interrupt you, of all the other candidates apart from APC and PDP, and all their votes put together were not up to 1 million votes.
I'm telling you why it wasn't up to that, The reasons that
cannot be the reason, because even in areas where the so-called elite live, where you don't have to buy votes, it was in that it was a straight race between the APC and the PDP. People were looking to see how well the third force will do.
That's a saying that elections are not determined by those who vote. Election results are determined by those who count the votes. So the elites could go out and vote according to their conscience, but who counts this?
How did you win in your polling unit?
Well, I'm telling you why we didn't win anywhere at all.
Well, just asking.
Apart from PDP.
Did you win in your polling unit?
Apart from PDP.
Because in the polling units, that should be an indication. In the polling units, people are there and people see how transparently.
I've told you conditions prima facie to the conduct of these elections. Nigerians saw that this election itself was rigged. All the institutions that would have guaranteed free and fair elections were cowed In our eyes, we saw it.
A straight question.
They didn't stop
Were
there.
votes bought at your polling unit?
Of course. We all saw what happened. The point I'm trying to make...
Where you voted?
Yes.
Votes were bought there?
I said, that's why I'm telling you that even INEC is aware of what was going to happen.
Pardon
and they
me,
told
sir.
us they were going to involve EFCC. If EFCC were involved, believe you me, before even the elections took place, we would have gotten some, arrest.
Are you being very honest when you say that you went into this race to win? When you know the nature of Nigeria's politics, you know that, things, even from analysis, for a lot of analysts, they believe that it was a straight race between the APC and the PDP.
No, until about 2 months or so to the elections.
Yes.
I had implicit confidence in this President Muhammadu Buhari, that he was going to rise to the occasion and demonstrate that he's no longer just an ordinary Nigerian or an ordinary president, but a statesman, an elder statesman.
By doing what?
By ensuring that conditions that will have guaranteed free and fair elections are present. But unfortunately for us, the APC government, people surrounding Mr. President, used him, to lord it over Nigerians and made sure that no matter how credible you are, like our own party, like myself, participating in this election, you will have nothing, at the end of the day. Because these elections were predetermined already, votes were already determined. Who guess what? It was already determined. Somebody told me that he had even the election results that was announced in Kano 2-3 days before the election took place.
I'm asking.
So these things.
Sir, I'm sorry.
I'm saying this. I want Nigerians to wake up to the realities we have.
You haven't
to the fact
answered
that
me. Who won in your polling unit?
Who won?
Yes.
Well, the government.
Did you stay to the end of the count in your polling unit?
I was there now. The government won everywhere. There was no place government didn't win.
The government did not win everywhere. When you look at it polling unit by polling unit, when you look at even state by state declarations,
let me tell you what.
Your party was not one. It was not one of those in the reckoning.
APC won this election long time ago because they knew what was going to happen. They knew that people were not longer, supporting this government, and what they did was, I said, okay, forget about them. They now prepared, a kind of they had an arrangement that will ensure that where Mr. President didn't win because he didn't want to cause any trouble, they made sure he got more than 35%, so that going forward he will fulfill the requirement of the law, to be in power at all costs.
All that you are saying right now,
it's what every Nigerian knows.
That has a lot to say about the umpire. Are you saying that the umpire was compromised?
Was also cowed.
Is that what you're saying?
They were threatening. Didn't you see what Oshomole was saying when the election was postponed? What? They were threatening the man. They said they're going to remove him. We're going to probe you after these elections. How do you tell an umpire that you, the government, telling him that I'm going to probe you? Mr. President himself came out and said, we are going to probe you after this election. So what are they saying? You are telling the man who's going, and you are wielding the power. You employ this man. So you are paying him, and you are telling him, if you don't do my bid, I'll probe you.
Are you insinuating that INEC was independent until that moment? Is that what you're saying?
Perhaps that's what it means.
You have to be certain.
No, I am. I'm certain because
you're making very, very dangerous insinuations by saying that the results were written 2 months before the election. Oh, everybody knew that, and yet you say that the umpire was cowed. Didn't we hear what was going on when elections were postponed?
Did you hear Mr. President when he said so?
I'm not talking about that. I'm trying to link the two.
No, he's a factor. Mr. President is a factor here. He's a factor. It's the number one factor in this election.
I'm not denying that the president is a factor.
So who am I? How do you expect INEC
What I'm asking you is the role of the umpire. You have said in your own polling unit, and I think that your experience in your own polling unit is extremely important.
Yes.
If you could not win in your polling unit, you claim that votes were being bought. Sir, if I may ask you, where did you vote? In Abuja?
No, in Bida, of course.
In Bida, you voted in Bida, and you say that votes were being bought right in your very before.
Exactly.
In your polling unit as a presidential candidate.
The night before, I knew the billions, millions that were moving all over the place.
Oh, they were bought the night before.
The night before, and even after the elections were.
I'm sorry, sir. Were they bought at the polling unit, or were they bought the night before?
You see, does it matter where they were bought? Where they are bought?
It's extremely important. It's extremely important.
Okay. They were bought the night before the elections.
So you knew you were going to lose the elections.
I said 2 months. 2 months before this election,
Yes, you still...
all Nigerians knew that nobody had a chance in these elections. Even PDP knew that they didn't have a chance. Nobody was in doubt that this is how the election. But we have a duty. We have a duty.
Yes.
We have a duty to this country not to, in any way, truncate this democracy that we have earned, by our sweat and blood. That's why some of us went ahead to participate in the elections.
And a lot of people would commend the courage of people like you who still decide to go ahead in spite of the behemoths, the large political parties.
Exactly.
However, they would like you also to be realistic in terms of what your real chances are. If you have 73 candidates in an election, 2 of them from major parties, what really would you say are the chances of the smaller parties, so to speak, in an election, in a presidential election? In a country as large as Nigeria.
You know why many people came out to campaign and asked to be given the chance? It is because the electorate, I'm talking about Nigerians, not politicians, the electorate were yearning, they didn't even hide it. We need a third force. We need a credible alternative.
Yes.
The electorate now, like you said, the elites, and even the man on the street was asking for something different because there's nothing again that we're expecting, from PDP or APC that will change, their lives. So they are looking up to us to provide that credible alternative. And that's what gave us, the strength. Because we believe...
The nature of that third force, of the people who came out to be the third force, do you think that helped the cause of the third force?
No, it did. It did in a sense that, it galvanized, and then it also helped in mobilizing the entire country, to now have more than a passive interest in what affects their lives.
Well, let's take a break now. We will come back and we'll ask whether less than 1 million votes is really showing interest in that third force. Please stay with us. Yabagi Sani is still with us. He is the presidential candidate of the Action Democratic Party. We know that all the other votes of the other 70 plus political parties were just about 900,000, roughly about less than 1 million votes, really. Your vote, the vote that you garnered, also included in that. Since you feel that the elections weren't quite fair, which is what you seem to have insinuated, are you going to go to court?
No, you see, but then we don't have another country other than Nigeria. And what the pronouncement made by INEC, they did it on behalf of Nigerians, because they're supposed to work for Nigeria. And there's a saying that history will forgive you for taking a wrong decision, but history will not forgive you for not taking a decision at all. And when I sat down and looked at what happened, I was confronted with the fact that I have to take a decision. And how should my decision go? Is it to strengthen this democracy going forward, because it's a learning curve, which I believe it is, or is it to bring in some kind of distractions? Because, don't forget, before these elections, the last version of the common man was cowed in a manner that you will never believe that will happen in the 21st century Nigeria we are in. For whatever reasons, we are not in any way promoting corruption or what have you, wherever it takes place, wherever it's involved. I'm for probity. Our party is a credible alternative. But again, timing is about everything.
So you're not going to court?
Because which court do I go to? Which court? Where is the court?
There are courts in the land.
But where is in Nigeria? In Nigeria, which court do I go to
you
now?
are not going to court.
Because
you've seen the controversy.
Because all the institutions that would have guaranteed free and fair election were cowed in a manner that you never think it is Nigeria.
Well, the candidate of
brazenly,
the People's Democratic Party feels very differently. He is going to court.
That's his own decision.
Are you, exactly, it's his own decision.
Yeah.
Are you one of those who is encouraging him to go? Or
no,
would you say he shouldn't bother?
No, I sympathize with him, because what happened is not anything that anybody would like to be associated with. But what is 4 years in the life of a nation? That's what you ask yourself. And you look beyond all these mundane things happening, because I consider them mundane. The future of this country is more important to me. And then APC, 4 years, like the whole thing will scatter. And the true democratic institutions that we want in this country will emerge from the rubbles of those that will scatter.
You haven't quite answered my question, sir.
I'm asking
Are you
a question.
encouraging him to go or not to go?
For record purposes, maybe he needs to go. But he himself knows, from day one, that he's not expecting anything that, will change what you have.
So there'll be questions as to why you will go to court if you're not expecting anything.
But I know for record purposes,
you have to have confidence in an institution
it could be there.
for you to go
So,
there.
but which institution now, please, this judiciary system has been, made to be a shadow of itself. So where do you go? Who are you going to talk to?
Are you going to participate in presidential elections again, or is this your last one?
No, this is not my last one. I'm believing Nigerians that, and I'm believing also that Nigeria will not continue to be like this. Not at all, because this country is bigger than all of us.
So you hope to contest in presidential elections again?
The promise of this country is greatness. That's what I've always said. We have all the resources. We have the human capital. You have everything that you want to talk about in terms of size, large. I mean, the mere location of this country, the kind of people we have, like yourselves, intelligent and very dynamic. So I believe that this country is a country of promise, greatness, and my party, myself, will represent that future. I believe that the new dawn will soon take over, and that is the truth. Because what is happening, we all know. We are still living in the past, and
I like
we have to catch up.
I like your creed, sir. I like your creed, the fact that you believe that this country, is going to be great.
Yes,
and
be great.
We have to commend your courage.
Thank you.
We wish you all the best going forward.
Yeah.
Yabagi Sani is the presidential candidate of the Action Democratic Party. Thank you for coming.
Actually, my party, INEC says we are number 4 in terms of ranking. So which is
congratulations, and thank you for coming on Sunrise Daily.